Hello, hello, hello. I believe we are live. Live and in color, as they say. I just realized my lips feel really dry. Hello, everyone. Welcome. If you didn't know, I am Linda Israel, and I have been creating YouTube videos since 2010, something like that. Yeah, it's been a while. I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We're going to work on some junk journal type stuff. If you have any questions, make sure you ask in all capital letters, and I'll do my best to answer. If I don't see it, ask again, or if one of my members that are in the chat knows the answer, or they could also ask the question so I can see it, because sometimes the chat goes fast, sometimes it goes slow. You'll see some in-chat games where we're playing around and what they call a FFA, and what's the other one? FFA, and I forgot the other one. So how is everybody? I hope you're well. Hope you had an amazing week. I've been busy myself, and it's been hot, 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 hot here. I don't know, did we make it to 100 yesterday? I can't remember. I know that there was several days forecasted that we were going to have over 100 degrees Fahrenheit here. So it's been hot. So what do I have here in front of you? You see a whole mess of scraps. So I have a tendency that when I clean off my table, I will grab all the pieces and I will bag them up. Like this is a bag here of scraps. And it's actually, that was taking a whole bunch of envelopes or bags or little containers, and I resorted them and sorted them, and then they just were kind of like the leftovers that I hadn't figured out what I wanted to do with them yet. And then this box had some smaller pieces. It's stored behind me back here, is where I usually keep that. And you see a hot mess. And so I thought the other day when we were doing the live stream, when I pulled that drawer out to show, that I would get this out and see if we can't do something with all the scraps. Looks like your desk. Well, I got a little bit of a clear space here. I'm seeing that I got glue on here I need to clean up. So what I did quickly was I went through and grabbed a bunch of things and made a pile here of stuff I could work on. They're kind of planned, but not completely. And I think what I want to do is I want to switch this around because I don't want to do this one first because I really don't know what I want to do with it yet. So I'm just kind of making piles. So one of the things that I have here is Canvas Corp brands. When I was a influencer for them, when they're in their design team, and I went to their warehouse in Arkansas, they had an abundance of this heavy watercolor paper that they had a contract with Michaels. And I guess either it was sent back or they changed the order and didn't get everything, but they had already labeled all of the products. And they gave me a bunch of these, and I've cut them down and made them into smaller journals. I don't think I have one. Yeah, I don't see one up there. But I've sold a bunch. I've given away a bunch of small journals out of this paper. And this corner has a label on it. The bad thing, though, is that if you go to remove this label, it rips the paper. Can you see that? It does not come off. So they made a mistake in whatever adhesive they use for this label, that it ruins the paper. So you can't use both sides of it without it looking terrible. So I kind of just went through my scraps and I was thinking, well, what if we did something like layered down this little scrap of brown, and then I had this little image on top. Yes, you can kind of see a little bit of that in the background. Maybe that's what we'll do today. So I thought I would kind of start here. I think I separated out, I don't know, a half a dozen of these that I saw. And this was paper that I cut. And when I did my subscription boxes, we would wrap the fibers around those so that it kept them contained. So I've got these two pieces that I was thinking of putting here. But what else can I do to this? I have a piece of book page. That's not the right size. What about this one? This one's a little bit bigger. Now, do I want to go all the way down the front here and put it? Or do I want to just cut it to be smaller? I kind of like the way that looks with the pieces. Now I could stamp on this piece to make it kind of cover up the text of the book page. So let's slide this over. Let's get this out. I've got some archival ink, jet black. Just use the supplies you have. Don't feel like you have to go out and buy a bunch of things. If you do buy things, make sure it's stuff that you love. There's too many times that I see people that are like, I'm going to go shopping and I want to buy this and I want to buy this and I want to buy this and I have this and I have that. And then they get home and they have too much stuff that never makes it out of the shopping bag because they don't really have a place to put it and they're not using what they have. So I'm really trying to do that myself. I don't buy anything new really anymore. Occasionally I buy glue. And if I'm doing a specific thing and I know I don't have that product, I may go buy some of that, whatever that may be. But I try not to just buy for the sake of buying because I have an abundance right here. So let's stamp on this. what do we have here? We have the, this is the postcard script, I think. Something like that. And I'm just going to stamp over the text, kind of making different directions. So if you got plain old book pages, you don't know what to do with them, you can stamp over them, and that completely changes their look. Because now when we put that down, I guess I could make it right side up. And then put this on top, and then put this in here. Well, now we've got a cute little, it could be a bookmark, it could be a tag. Oh, hey, Michelle, welcome. Hello, hello, hello. All right, so let's glue this together. I did add some more glue to my bottle because it was a little bit runny last week. So I'm hoping that it won't be too runny today. I just need to use a little bit more of it up so that there's room to add more. I didn't add distress edges to this. Let's see if we like it. I may not. And oddly, this paper, the side that they put the sticker on is the smoother side. This side has a little bit more texture, but it's still capable of accepting whatever you want to use for a writing utensil on top. All right, I'm going to put this here. I find that this is one of those things that if you grab your stack of scraps, and then I've been using some calico collage images here that I've fussy cutted. I've got some rubber stamped images. There's even some stickers in there. So I'm just going to grab a few things here and there. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue this down. What has everybody been working on this week? I made a bunch. Did I do that this week? I guess I don't know what day it is half the time. I made a bunch of bow tie that attached to dog collars for my groomer. That's kind of how we barter to get the grooming done for my dogs. Okay, just simple like that. All right, so now I've got, so that's what I've been busy working on. All right, so this time I have a book page. I still have one of these pieces here. This was just, looks like some mixed media, and I didn't use the proper glue because it is coming loose. Let's see if I can get this piece glued back down. It's kind of loose. Sometimes I pick all the layers of things that I'm going to put on there, and sometimes I don't. I think this one I want to trim down just a little bit. So let's see, this is approximately, what is that, if I do 2 1/4, let's go this way, 2 1/4. Let's see how this looks when we trim it. Julie says she discovered yesterday that the running tacky glue I was complaining about actually glues things quite well. It's just running compared to Aleene's turbo tacky glue. Gotcha. All right, I think that'll work. And I think I can get away with cutting this right about where that last line is. I'm going to come up just a little bit from it. So now when I put this down, that'll cover the whole thing. And then I found this little piece, and I thought, well, we could do that. Now, what do I have here? I've got some little birds. I don't know if that's too... I have this feather. Maybe that would be better. You know, on the other one, I didn't put a sentiment on it. I could do that. Okay, I think I like the peacock feather better on here. So I'm going to put the birdie back. Put the birdie back in the bag. And let's add some distress inks to this piece. As I've been puttering around in my room, I've looked at things to see what can I use to put together some ephemera or even embellishments, just a variety of stuffs. I even got out my fabric scraps. I may want to do some more of those little, I don't know what I call them, they're where I took a piece of book page and then glued a piece of fabric on top, and then I stitched around that and added maybe an image of a butterfly or something. You know, you can make these as simple or as heavily embellished as you like. I prefer that most of the things that I put inside a journal are relatively flat, because I do make the journals where you can write in them. So if you like the chunky bits, then use the chunky bits. So I'm thinking of putting this up here, but I'm thinking of bringing it down a little bit. And I just saw this piece of fabric. So if I were to, do I want to cut it and just put it on top? Should it go over the edge? Maybe that's what I'll do. I'm going to add a little bit of glue here. First, I'm going to, what I call, finger press this. The FFA is open. Here, let me see. Let me get into it so y'all can win some junk bucks. Let's see. Exclamation point FFA. Did I do it? All right, we're in. So now that I've got this folded in half, I'm going to take a little bit of glue and position this not too far down. And let's we'll finish kind of adding some stuff to this, and then we'll take this over to the sewing machine. And stitch that across the top, and then that'll kind of give us a little tab. And I'm thinking that this can come down just a smidge below that. This is one of those pieces of paper that I had started using it on my gel print, and then I layered some other papers over the top of it and had a couple of scraps left over. Okay, like the little feather. Let's also grab, oh, no, glue down, some sentiments, and we'll come back to this one. I guess I should turn on my sewing machine because we're gonna stitch. So we've got the sewing lamb, a little thread. Hopefully, my camera may need to be adjusted a little bit. We'll know that in a moment. Okay, what do we have here? How about love flows quietly? Is that too big? How about be extraordinary instead? There we go. And then, do I want to put love flows quietly there? It's kind of an ivory color. You know, we could look for another piece. I've got this brown. Let's see. I think I like it adding it to behind there. So let's put these back. Did I win? How funny. You've been trying to use all your different glues. That's one of the things I never really got into buying a whole bunch of different types of glues. The only reason why I have so much of the Beacon glue is, again, because of being on the design team with Canvas Corp brands. And they gave me a whole box full of glues. Get out my little paper trimmer here. I guess if I do it this way, it might work better. Have a little more control. Kind of looking at this. Yeah, we'll save that. Who knows how we use it later. You ordered masking tape and then found yours in the crowd. That's how it works. If you can't find something, you buy a new one and then you find the old one. How do you think I ended up? And I know I have more because there's one right here with 3 bone folders in my little cubby here. I've got more somewhere. I know I have at least 2 more. They're different shapes. There's one that is a truly vintage bone folder that I have. It's really long. All right, so let's add a little bit of distress inks to the edges. Okay, I think that works. Like that. Now, do we need to put something behind the Be Extraordinary? Maybe. Wonder if I have a little piece of pink paper that we could use. Kind of center that below there. Looking. I may have some pink fabric. This one's different. Let's see how this looks. Let's go this way. So if I were to put this on top of that, no, I don't like that fabric. Let's see if I got a piece of pink in here. Ooh, got this little piece. It's too big the other way, but that may be close. Kind of flipping through to see. I'm trying to use what's in this box before I go to another container. Put a little piece of that. All right, I'm thinking. Another thing I could do is to take a piece of book paper or whatever I have here and add some color to it. I have this piece. If I were to lay this down, and I've got my distressed ink here. Let's see how this looks if I add a little pink. Now, let's see. That may be just enough pink. All right. I think that works. Just adding a little bit of pink. So I'm going to get my little paper trimmer back out again and mark it. Another thing I may do too, because it's a strip of paper that was from the edge. of a book page. I could stamp on this little strip with the henna rose. Let's get ink pad, another scrap of paper. Don't lose the word. It just changes the whole look of a book page by stamping on top, I think anyway. See how that looks? You like the little peacock feather? That is one of Beeline Designs. It's part of a set. I can't remember if it's called Birds of a Feather. It's 4 different stamps. Okay, and then I was going to put that right below. All right, we're going to glue this down, which should have given enough time for the glue on the fabric to dry. If you don't have a sewing machine, you could always staple it or just put enough glue that you know it's not going to come loose. I know that henna rose stamp is one of my favorites. Oh yes, I saw you had a order. I need to make sure I've got the stencil made. All right, I think we're in the camera shot there. I've got regular thread, regular needle. I've got black thread in the upper and the lower. And I'm just going to zigzag stitch right across here. So now you can kind of see that. A little close-up. A little close-up there. Uh-oh. I must be out of bobbin thread. I just noticed it made no stitches. All right, let's put that in here. Thankfully, I've already got one wound up. I'm almost out of thread on the spool. I noticed that earlier today, so I went and found my stash of black spools so that I can use it when this one runs out. Now, there we go. Got it on there. Beautiful. Okay, let's give you a close-up of this one too, so you can kind of see how that turned out. All right, so there's a couple right there, right off the bat. And we've got a swing and a hit, not a miss. It was a hit. So I have a bunch of these. Look how many of these I've set aside for this type of project. You want me to continue on? We'll do a whole stack of them while we're here. Okay. Thank you for your support. I greatly appreciate you. Let's see, I thought, I'm trying to, did I miss something? You're still, because you have a concussion, don't you, Michelle? I hope you're getting better. All right, so here's another one. I have a brother. It's called a Simplicity SB 3129, and I've had it now since 2014, I think. So yeah, so I've had it, what is that, 12 years? Wow, that's a long time ago. It has been a good machine. It's got a self-threader on it. If you ever upgrade to a new sewing machine, go into a sewing machine shop and sit down and actually look at all the features and find the features that suit you. I wanted the self-threader and self-cutter because I didn't want to have to keep messing with threading that needle. As I've gotten older, my eyes aren't as good as they were, and I didn't want to have to use a needle threader to thread my machine. So I ended up with this. It retailed back then for $6.99, and I got it for $3.99. They've had a special, and I've been really happy with it. It's got a 25-year warranty on the metal interior portion of this. So it's a brother, but it's not the $99 one. Don't buy that $99 sewing machine. The only reason you should ever buy one of those is because it's your very first machine and you're going to have somebody teach you how to sew. If you don't know how to sew, go to a workshop, do something like that so that you can learn how to sew, because it's frustrating. I had a really inexpensive sewing machine that I bought at Walmart years ago, and I had it a week and it broke on me. And so I took it back to Walmart because I was like, this is ridiculous. It should be able to sew through a couple of pieces of fabric, and it couldn't. So I returned it. And that one also broke. At the same time, the state fair, this was years ago, the state fair was around, and I went to the state fair. This was in the 90s. I went to the state fair, and there was a company around here that sells sewing supplies mostly, but they also offered sewing machines. And they had a special that if you traded in a sewing machine and paid a little bit of money, you could get a new sewing machine from them. And back then, I had my grandmother, my grandmother's old Singer, I think it was, that had the drop-in discs for the different types of stitch designs, and that's not what I wanted to use, so I ended up trading that in. I returned my sewing machine back to Walmart that was broken. Thankfully I had kept my receipt, and I said, I don't want this machine. This is my second one. It keeps breaking. I want my money back. I got my money back, and I used that money that I got for returning the sewing machine to buy a new sewing machine back then. And I used that one until 2014. I still own it. It's in my stash around here. I don't even know where it is for sure. I think it's over there in the corner. And I used it for years and years and years. The only reason why I upgraded was because I was quilting a lot, and I was finding that the seam allowances weren't as accurate on my old machine, and I disliked trying to thread the machine. So I ended up just going ahead and getting a new machine. You have the fashion runway model. Is it a new nice machine? Post concussion syndrome. Oh, well, I hope you get better. Persistent postural peripheral dizziness, a common chronic functional balance disorder. So is it kind of like having what's the inner ear one? I forgot the name of it all of a sudden. Vertigo. I wonder if you're having a version of vertigo. Man, I think this one I'm not going to put a sentiment on. I'm just going to leave it like that, because it may come that the day that I want to use it, I'll have the perfect sentiment that I want to put on there, or just leave it blank. All right, so here I've got, let's find something interesting to put on here. Oh, look here. I just saw this piece, and I think that would work as a background like that. I'm going to trim this off and place it in here. All right, let's go here. I want this to be a little bit shorter, so we're going to lay it right about there. This is one of those book pages that I had painted white, and then we did some stenciling over the top of it. So it's got a nice texture, and we have the holes where it was in the book at one time. The room doesn't spin, but you feel like your head is speeding even though it's not. Man. Yeah, I can imagine trying to look back and forth. Well, we'll keep you in our thoughts and prayers and hope that you can recover from this quickly so you do not have to keep putting up with these symptoms. Oh, that's what I didn't do on this one. I needed some distress inks on the edges. These could also be turned into a side pocket if you want. They're going to be thick and chunky, but they could still make it. Oh, gotcha. Okay, so Jennifer says her Project Runway machine was a Christmas gift from her, at the time, fiance, and she used it to make her wedding gown when she got married in 2012. Nice. You're tired and you think you should go to sleep? It sucks when you don't feel good and you just got to recover. Probably need to not have very much screen time, like no mobile devices, that kind of thing. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. And then this is going to go here. I like it. Just keeping it really simple. Because the glue has more, what is that? Viscosity. That's where it's more liquid. It flows really thin. So I don't have to put a whole lot of glue on here. And that, remembers, that is paint. So I need this glue. I forgot. I'm glad you were here. Feel better. Feel better. Do all the things the doctors say to do. I'm sure there's all kinds of remedies you can find to try. I know that over the years, whenever I've had my ailments, I've always looked for advice from others, and sometimes I didn't want advice, but I got it anyway. Okay, I like that. All right, so I've made 4 just that quickly, and I've got a stack here, so I'm going to keep going. All right, so this time I have a book page, and then this was some stamped paper, I think, or printed paper. I can't remember. And then this was an image from Calico Collage. All these images that I'm using are from Calico Collage, unless I say otherwise. I have a few things that I'm going to be making here in a moment that were not from her. I think they were given to me because I found them in a goodie bag. Vestibular, vestibular? I don't know. I can't say it. Well, I hope it's helping. I agree. I hope it's helping and giving you some relief. Thank you very much. Okay, so I got that one. Let's do this one. Bye, Michelle. Feel better. Thanks for stopping in. Okay, let's do this side a little bit. Just so it has that darked edges. Put that on there. Glue it down. Do I want to? Well, no, because we're going to put this over the top. So I'm not going to stamp on this one this time. Just add a little glue. And glue it down. Okay, and then this, I was just going to kind of lay it in there. I may look real fast and see if I have some something with a little bit of color. Let's put some glue on this piece. I've got this piece of pink. Is that too much to go with this image? Maybe I should find a blue. This has a little bit of blue in it. I don't know if that's enough though. Not that piece. That is not the piece. This one might be better though because it's got this jagged edge. And if I add distress inks to it. All right, let's do this. Let's get the distress ink. And let's put some on here so we can kind of see how this looks. It also kind of fills in that area. This was another gel print scrap where I cut off the edge to make it straight for another project, and I kept the piece that I tore off. All right, so do we want to go this way and then put that in? I don't know. I keep changing my mind. You know what? I have another one here that I've started. I think I'm going to add it here. I think that's what I'm going to do is add it to this piece. Let's dive again. I have a little bitty piece of blue. I think that looks better. Just a little touch of color. Yeah? You like the pink? Oh, I know. We'll find another one. Let me see if there's another one. I have this one I haven't started yet, so I'm just going to lay that pink on here. And you know what? We've got this shade of pink. And we'll find something that will go on here. Digging in the... I just saw this out of the corner of my eye. Okay, I think we've figured it out, okay? We've got something different that we're going to put together. How's that, Jennifer? All right, I'm going to add the blue. You like the pink, but I think the pink will look better on a different one. All right, so put that right about here, and then we're going to put this kind of going down. Try not to think too much about all the scraps, just using them. Pink can always be skipped. Hey, Amanda, how are you? Amanda's not my pink girl. That's Jennifer. All right. I think on this, I will just tear. Oops, I almost lost my... Don't run away. I'm going to tear that edge and then come down here and tear that edge. Using up all the scraps. And then let's glue this down the edge here. Or do we want to go this way? Yeah, let's do that. And maybe the thing to do is go ahead and just put the layers of papers and then come back later and put down any words or other embellishments as you want to put on them. All right, let's do this. do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad to have you here. I'm just getting a little distressed ink here around the back. Well, this is good because I've had these scraps for a while now, and now I'm using them up. All right, so if this went here and that went on top, I saw something. You wanted a little bit of pink? Well, how about, I've got some fibers. These are from whenever I dyed fabric and then I tear it, and sometimes it gets a little wild on the edges. Do I want to put a trying to see if there's something else here. Kind of did a purple. Oh, what is this? Oh, that's a tag. Maybe we'll decorate that tag a little bit. All right, so I was going to put this down. I was trying to see if I found something else that would work just as good. You have Johnny Jump Ups in your yard? Well, hey, Sandra, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, let's put this on. And then I was going to put a little bit of these fibers in here. I don't know that I need all of them, but I could just kind of put some glue to put those down. So let's do this. And then lay that in the glue. Spread it out. Oh, my nails this week are black and gold. I had changed my nails Saturday. I put these on and I didn't feel like changing them out today, so this is what we have. All right, because this has got the fibers on it, I'm going to put something heavy on it to squish it. Put that in the pile, and let's bring this over. And I'll put this scrap back in the little bin. All right, so let's look at this one. We started with these pieces. I think this time I may want to do some stamping on the white paper here in the background. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Hello, hello, hello. You do love pansies? I like pansies too. They're pretty durable. They don't like extreme hot, but they do really well in the cold. So they're the first things that you can add in your garden that won't freeze too soon. And they have a tendency, if you can keep them alive during the summer, you can, they'll bloom again in the fall, just before it gets too cold and freezes. Sometimes. Okay. Let's get out a rubber stamp. Let's put some background on here. Oh, I know what. I'll look in here. Oh. Well, that wasn't good. Pardon me, I just spilled some stuff. It's a good thing I have an abundance of hand towels in here, because when I spill something, I can clean up. Oh, I have some pink butterflies. Well, I spilt my latte. The cup tipped over, even though I have a lid on it. It came out the straw. So I'm trying to clean it up. Sop it up. Thankfully, all the things that are on the floor where this spilt are in little baggies, and so I didn't end up getting the contents wet. Okay. That's good. All right, let's put this in here. So I get all of it? Almost. It'll be sticky. Exclamation point bucks, Sandra. Okay. I think I got it. These were all in I have a little bin here that I've been adding things to work on. All right. I want a rubber stamp. What do we want here? We might do that one. Oh yeah, here's the French script, I think. And I think this one's too big. Although it might fit on there. We're going to get it out. Let's see. See, I have a lid on here, but it spilt out the hole. Okay. I have some rubber stamps. And I'm really going to concentrate on trying to get this corner. And I'll have to stand up to do it because of how big this stamp is. But I'm going to ink it up. Looks pretty good. All right, let's stand up and try not to drop it. We're giving it CPR. And that's okay. It didn't get all the way down because I'm going to put paper on top of it. So stay. Dante's been learning some new techniques. I've taught him, we call it bang. And it's where we point our fingers at him and he then falls over like he's been executed. I don't know if I want that. Maybe I'll do that instead. Just kind of have a little hint of it. And it's been funny because sometimes he'll do it just perfectly, flawlessly. And then the next time you ask him to do it, he'll bark at me the entire time and grumble. It's like, seriously, dog? Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So that one looks pretty good. It's still a little wet, so I'm going to let that air dry. All right, let's go ahead and glue this down. So I'm going to put this blue book page here at the top. Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you. Congratulations, I guess. I see it. You had a cat who would play dead. Yeah, critters are funny, the things that they'll do. Okay, this piece down. Don't get away from me. Kind of layer this in here. And then we'll put this piece maybe like that. Or do we want to overlap it? I think I'm going to overlap it and cover up. What does that say? Misgive. Yeah, Jennifer's been sending me videos to teach your dog tricks. I think you sent me one that was, I think they said feet. And so the dog went behind the person and then came through between their legs. And the dog put its front two paws on the toes, the top of the feet of the person that it was with. And then the person would walk with the dog. Oh no, Dante inspired nails. Do I need to do, or you're saying these are Dante inspired nails because they're black and gold? I didn't see that. Cool, thank you. Okay. I think this one we can put a sentiment on here. I may go ahead and do that. What can we find? Let's see. How about be authentic? And that gives us a little. There we go. Okay. Like so. All right, so there's another one. Lay that over here. We're getting a stack. I'm wearing Dante inspired nails with the black and gold. All right, so this is a yellow rose, and it looks like I got a little book page to put on there. I don't know if I had, oh, I just saw this as I looked over. It's a piece of paper that I cut off of a mop-up paper. Do I want to cut off this area? All right. Should I put some yellow on this paper or green? What do we want to do? Yellow or green? Let's see what I have here. I have mustard seed, squeezed lemonade, and fossilized amber. That's amber. That's yellow. I don't know if I have marigold. Is that this one? No. Marigold. Haha. Okay. So let's get scrap of paper here. So we'll do this. This is marigold. Okay, didn't I say I had marigold? I have fossilized amber. Where's marigold? There it is. Oh, marigold is more peachy. So that's not the right color. No. Nope. That's not gonna work. All right, so let's look at, I don't think I want squeezed lemonade. I think maybe it's going to be mustard seed or fossilized amber. And I think it's fossilized amber is the winner. You put all your small scraps with your big scraps. You know that that's how they procreate. All right, so we did amber. So let's get this one. Okay. Now, if we put this here, I may want to turn this around. Maybe something like that. I may want to trim off this edge. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Let's clean off our fingers. And I want to trim this piece off the bottom here. There. And now let's get the distressings. I almost lost my piece. I would have been like, where did it go? What happened? Okay, and let's do this piece. And I think I will trim this. Let's do it this way. I'm trying to use that edge. All right, trim that off. Gives us a variety to see the textures. You like that yellow? So I was thinking like this, and then put this over. Now, should we put something here? Maybe what I'll do is look for, I don't know, what do we want to do? I need this to be up that high, so I'm going to put it closer to the side. Maybe I'll look for, I don't know, if I want to use some butterflies. I may have a yellow one or a orange and brown, orange and black. And let's put this going down the side here. You overthink it. You know, a technique to try is to grab your supplies. It'll help if you have some fussy cut items already made. And in my case, I have them in little envelopes, but you could put them in a little tub or put them in a bowl and have some pre-cut bases that you can then adhere other stuff on top of. All right, I'm just gonna keep going. So here's another piece from that black earlier. This is where I trimmed off some of it. And I didn't put some distress inks on this piece, so let's do that. Your brushes are one for all the yellows, one for the pinks, and one for all the blues. I got you. And I kind of did that, and I ended up getting some extra brushes. So I labeled them to kind of match the names, because some of them, if you do switch, it kind of muddies the color. And if I want to keep it true, I try to use that one. I think I have one that pretty much goes for blue. And I think the green, I may have two of them that are for different greens that I have. Okay, so this one, I was thinking of just kind of putting it right down the middle. I don't have an image selected to go on top. I've been using these from Calico Collage. Oh, I do have this though. This is a rubber stamped image I made a while back. Do I put that on here? Do I switch it? I don't know. it kind of goes on this tag. I think I'm just going to glue it on this tag. Do I have something else that will go? Well, I may not have the perfect thing. I've got another yellow. We could put this one down here. Oh, that might be kind of cute to put a secondary one down here at the bottom. Yes or no? All right, what do I want to put on here? I've got some little fussy cut flowers in there. What do we got? Pinks and purples. Here's some more calico collage images. Oh, and I have these that I made a while back. This was, they're stickers, and so I stuck them to some other papers that I had. I don't know. Is that what I want to do? I have another one of these that I started earlier, and I think I'm going to change my mind and place this. This was a bigger piece, so I think that would work on here. And maybe what I should do is just glue down a butterfly on top. What else do I have in here? Oh, I have this another pansy, maybe a little sticker. Okay, let's set these aside. We'll come back to them later. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Oh, you got two things going at once? Isn't that what most women do? Is two things at once? Keep an eye on everything. Work on the task you're doing. You have the iris too. Okay, I think that will work. I'm going to add some distress inks to the butterfly. Let's glue this piece down. See, now my table is starting to get full of all kinds of stuff. This paper has been folded and crinkled. All right, we want to go. Let's go this way. Trying to cover up that sticker and get it centered. All right, so I was thinking of putting the butterfly up here. And let's look back through these again. See if I have one that's smaller. Oh, look at that tulip. I could put the tulip down here and just kind of do a collage on there. So you ever wonder what to do with these stickers? I have a bunch of them. This was some paper that I had in my stash from Canvas Corp Brands that was really thin and it was cut wonky, so I just started gluing the stickers on there, and that seems to work a lot better. Do 50 things at once but finish 0. Don't do that. Okay, let's get this all glued down because I think I'm going to have to put something heavy on top of this one. Get a stamp block or something. And then we'll put the tulip down here at the bottom. You have a Cassiazaz? Cassaz? What does that mean? Leave a little bit of a black border here on this side. Okay, cool. So we got that one done. Let's work on this one next. And I'm going to put an acrylic block on here so it can smush it. And I think this one, I'm just going to keep it really simple. I'm just going to glue it down after I add some distress inks. And, oh, I have this, I saw this earlier, this little ribbon. And I was thinking I need to use it. I've got my fabric scraps over here to the side. I have that paper punch that you can take strips of paper and stick it in there, and it gives you this top edge to look like a specialty punched I can't say it. I'm just going to glue that down. I think that looks pretty good. I made these a long time ago, back when I was making more greeting cards and selling them than I was doing anything else. I think we'll do it where's my little piece of wax linen thread. All right, let's go through the hole. There. And like that. Some sari silk ribbon and made a little tag. All right, let's look at this one. This one is really, really old. For my mom one year, I made a flower bouquet out of paper and Hershey's Kisses. I even do have a tutorial video on how I did it. And that piece of paper towel is from that session where I was spraying all the papers to get them the color that I wanted. And when I saw it in this batch, I was like, okay, I need to try to use that somehow. Little piece of my mom, in a sense. Okay, so that's going to go up here. Ah, it's a consultant scrapbook company that went out of business. Their stamps and papers were really good quality. There's a lot of those that have gone out of business over the years. Okay, there is 2 layers here, I just noticed. And I think I'm just going to throw this one away because I got glue all over it. And it'll just make a mess if I try to save it. Like I said, this is a paper towel that I was using to clean up my mess and to catch the overspray. Okay, throw that away. And then this was just a little piece of like a gel print. Maybe like that. And then maybe we'll find a sentiment that'll fit on this portion. Or should I put it up higher? I don't know. Let's look for a sentiment before I glue everything down. Hey, don't be getting out. You're supposed to stay in. I think it got squished. Squish. All right, so let's see. I know I use this one a lot. Love flows quietly, but I've got Destiny is Calling. That might work better. Yeah, I went into Hobby Lobby here, and they have pretty much got it down to one aisle of paper good stuff. They've done a lot more with sublimation supplies and that kind of stuff. I guess you could say sublimation. What is it? Sublimation, vinyl cutting, that kind of stuff. That's what they have more of now. You know, used to they had like 4 aisles of paper goods and rubber stamps and all the things that went with it. I was really sad. Okay, I think I like that. So I'm going to glue down this piece first. And I don't buy anything anymore. So, you know, while I know it's sad that it's all going away, I don't need anything else. Don't let anybody see that. Yeah, it is terrible that they've, you know, but that's the nature of the world we live in now. People want already done items that they can embellish a little bit and make their own, or leave it the way that it is. You know, they may add a bow or a sticker and they'll be done. They don't want the whole process of, you know, like a gel print, making all of this. You might see some people over in the paint art supply. Really? You're already dead? No, you shouldn't be. I have a little fan that's battery operated and it quit working. We have a discount store called Ollie's here in the US. And apparently, according to social media posts, they're starting to get quite a bit of the Joanne Craft supplies. I found a couple of things there. I ended up buying a small paint set that is a whole bunch of colors in little tubes to put in my traveling art case for when I do a retreat or whatever. Because, you know, if you want a whole bunch of colors, you don't want to take all your great big tubes of paint. Let me go grab it. Where I put it? Uh-oh. Well, where did I put it? Huh. Well, I thought I had put it in my... Ah, here it is. So this was $3.99. And it's all these different colors of paint. And I thought that would be handy on the go, because then I would have all these colors if I want to do something, paint something or whatever. I've got all the colors and it's a small compact amount. You need a picture of Willie Nelson for a project? You might look for old country and western magazines. Hey, what are you doing, buddy? Huh? Hi, Dante. You want to say hello? Come here. Oh, come here. This chunky monkey is getting huge, y'all. You ready? We're gonna be on camera. Look right there. Come on, camera. There's Dante. Go this way. Good boy. It's hard to see his face because it's all black. He's like, whatever. Where's the treat? I didn't get any treat. Hobby Lobby is not very good hobby supply store. Not anymore. It's all about high, you know, home decor stuff. Margie is here. Hello, Margie. Dante wants to lick my face. Yes, I love you too, buddy. I love you too. I love you too. How can you not love this face? You're so sweet. No, I love you too. He says, whatever, lady. I picked up some supplies. That's why I was at Hobby Lobby to make a custom collar for him because I've not been real happy with the ones you can purchase. They're either way too expensive or they're too chunky. Thank you. I like it. Okay, I've got, I think, one more. I'm making sure. I think that's all of these now. Okay. Your favorite art class was Riot Art Fans Craft. Suddenly they closed all the shops and made it online business. They didn't get told until they showed up for work. Oh, that's sad. Going the way of Garden Ridge, yep. And that's why they went out of business. I went over to Home Place. I think that's what it's called, which used to be where Garden Ridge was here in Oklahoma City. I was getting my cell phone repaired. Oh, that was an ordeal. So Henry took me over a week ago now to see about upgrading my cell phone. I kind of mentioned it last time, and the employees at AT&T were thinking that I still had a screen protector on my screen and that was cracked. And they thought, well, to help me out, they would remove it so that when we did the exchange on my phone, I wouldn't get dinged because it was not working properly. And in the process, they ended up breaking my phone and I could not use my screen. So while I was waiting for the repair, I went over to a couple of shops, one of them being Home Place, and wandered around. I was like, wow, there's so much home decor items there. It's crazy. I'm thinking I think that looks good. Nice little collage. Again, all my little scraps. Yeah, it is terrible when they do that to workers. I mean, that's kind of what they did to us at Canvas Corp Brands. You know, we, as their design team, they kind of paid us in gift certificates. So whenever we did a project, if it was published, then you got gift certificates that you could then use to purchase more supplies from them to showcase, which is a smart business model because then the customers, aka design team, are buying what they like, what they enjoy, and they're not just sending out a release of, well, you have to make something with X, Y, and Z, and they're all going, oh, I don't like that. I had that with a different company that I was on a design team with. They would send me something, and I would look at them like, what am I supposed to do with this? This is nothing like what I like. It's not the style I would use, or it's not a product that I would even try to encourage my followers to buy. Well, they sold the business, and when they sold it, they said they were no longer going to honor all those gift certificates. So people who had $250 gift certificates just lost them. They didn't let us use them. They ended up hurting themselves tremendously. I know that there's a lot of people who don't buy their brand anymore. Now that the company's name is changed, I think you can still go to canvascorpbrands.com and Tattered Angels online, and it will take you to their new website. So look at here. So far, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 that we've made so far. I have a tendency to do one style at a time. I don't know why. It's how my brain works. I kind of like doing the mass making this way. I'm going to set these aside, but where do I want to set them? Ah, I'll put them right there. Okay. So this was an image that somebody gave me, and this is some blackberry dyed paper. I didn't get any blackberries this year because, number one, last year I trimmed back my bushes smaller because we were painting the lattice that it glows up. So I didn't get as many that came out, and those that did, the birds got, and the squirrels. I guess that's okay. So my thinking was, this is black cardstock, a little image that somebody gave me, and then this is some blackberry dyed paper that I thought could glue on the back so that you could use this for writing. Let's go ahead and add some distress inks. Yeah, I after the Canvas Corp brands, I was like, oh, and I think that was pretty much the last one I was on. And I decided that, you know, I got out of a couple of the others because it was kind of a conflict of what I wanted to do and what they offered in their product. I didn't really care for it that much. So I just went ahead and said, you know, I'm just going to get out of it. All right, so do we want to leave a black border behind that or go all the way to the edge? I think I'm going to leave a black border, which is different than Black Betty. All right, let's just do a little border right about there. Okay. And I have a piece left over back in the tub. And that it's a pretty image. I don't know where it came from. Okay, I think I want to go right about there. This works. Yeah, we'll just have a border all the way around, and then we'll have this on this side. Just keeping this one really simple. Again, I'm using scraps, even though it could act like it was planned. Lamba lamba. Black Betty. Whoa, Black Betty. Lamb. I can't even say it. Lamba bamba. Come on, fan. Okay, I think that's better. I may have to move my fan closer. It's not super strong, but it just moves the air a little bit. We're on smart hours here, and which works great the rest of the week, but on Mondays from 2 to 7 p.m., I'm supposed to limit how much electricity I use. So the only room that has stuff powered on is my craft room. I have turned off everything. Even my air conditioner doesn't run for these hours unless the temperature gets up to 80 degrees. So right now in the house, in this room, it's 77.3. So it's hot outside today. All right, got that side. Yeah, black border. You make a lot of cards and you love to make the narrow border because it highlights the image. Yeah, like a frame. I agree with you. I agree with you, Sandra. What we might do is stamp something on the other side. We could find another sentiment. Let's see what we got here that we can use. Do I have anything? Yeah, those words don't fit my wants and desires. I have nature. Oh, I have one that says bird. Is that too on the nose? Bird. You don't know how I do it? Well, 77 is pretty hot. Here's what we do. Because we get a discounted rate at 7 p.m. through the next day until 2 p.m., we turn the air conditioner. I have it on a schedule. So I turn the air conditioner to 72 degrees in my house, and it runs, keeping it cool. It helps that I have a relatively new compared to this house, because it was put in 2018, the air conditioner was in my home. And so it runs and pre-cools the house so that between 2 and 7, hopefully it doesn't get too high inside the home. Bird is the word. Bird is the word. Okay, let's put something over here. I've got this little rubber stamp set. I haven't used this one, so let's use it. Let's see how it looks. All right. Oh, that's pretty. All right, so I'm going to put it here. And then maybe the other corner. So now it looks like custom stationery. And there's days that when we get home from work, we might get home before 7 o'clock. And so we will not turn anything on. We'll either take food to the shop. We're a mile. Our house from our business is only a mile. So a lot of times Henry will go back to the shop and heat up some food if we had leftovers or whatever. We try to do it planned overs, as we call it. And that way we can keep the house cool and we're not using any power. And I have some battery powered rechargeable lights that we'll use in the living room. And we might turn on the TV and watch YouTube videos until it's 7 o'clock. All right, so do we want to leave maybe like that? And then let's see how wide this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches. I think what I'm going to do is look for something to put down the side one way or the other. That would go. Do both sides of this distress inks. In my craft room, because there's a window right here behind us. I don't know if y'all can see that I've got it covered up with a shelving unit because it would interfere with the camera because I'm facing that window. So before, what was it, 2 summers ago now, when I was redoing all of these drawers, I took this whole unit down and then I opened up to the window and I ended up putting aluminum foil on poster board and pushing that into the window frame. And then I put a curtain in the window frame, and then I put my shelf in front of it. And I think having the aluminum foil there reflects the heat back out. So this room gets hot because the sun is right there on that side of the building. All right. Oh, I've got these little strips. So if we were to put this going down the side, do we want to do it where something like that? Yeah, let's add some distress inks to this piece and then I can glue those down. I was telling my father-in-law, he has a window on that side of the house too. So in the evenings, it gets really hot in there. And I said, well, we could put some aluminum foil on some poster board. And he goes, well, I don't know. I kind of like being able to look out the window. I'm like, okay, well, that's what you want. That's fine. All right, I'm going to glue this down. And then we'll glue down the birds. This was with that other bird image, so I guess they both came at the same time. I'll trim this off after I get it glued down. Yeah, I was going to say one of those outside the roll-up blinds out the window help. Yeah, I could do that. We get such severe weather here that it would be banging around. I'd have to get one that I could definitely tie down. We planted a tree on that side of the house, and it almost gives us shade. What I would really like to do is right here about my window is a deck where we have our hot tub, and I would like to put a cover of some kind, like a pergola, over our hot tub, which would help with cooling that side of the house because it would then shade my window. You keep your AC set on 74 all the time and run a ceiling fan and a floor fan. Yeah. So I have a ceiling fan on in here, and then I have a little battery powered fan that apparently loses power. I have it attached to a battery backup, but it's not really very strong. Huh. I wonder if it would run differently if it was actually powered. But it should be getting the same concept from the battery backup. I think these birdies are wearing a garland. I don't know if you could call it Christmas, like little bells and lights. I don't know. All right, there's another one. Made. What time is it? 5:20. I thought about doing, I don't know if I want to do something with these or if I just want to take scraps and glue them to another piece of paper and then just use the punch to make these. I think that's what I'd rather do. So those are going to be page tabs. So I've got, like I have this piece of scrap that I could glue to another piece of paper. And I've got these pieces that I could glue to another piece of paper. So let me get a book page that isn't too fragile. Oh, you know what? I don't even have to use a book page. I've got some copyweight paper that came off my printer. And we're not going to see the other side anyway, and it's heavyweight paper. So let's see. If I were to glue that down, I could get a couple out of that strip, and those could become page tabs. All right, so I'm just going to glue some papers down, mainly because I want it to give an opportunity for it to dry before I come in with my paper punch. So yeah, I'm just going to glue this in the corner here. Because I like my page tabs to be a little bit thicker than plain copy paper. So this will be like 2 layers with the book page and the copy paper. All right, let's go ahead and these are too narrow because they won't go. Well, yeah, I guess they would. I could go this way. But I also kind of like those as possible embellishments. So I think these two are the ones I want to do a couple of those with. So I'm going to give that an opportunity to dry, and we'll revisit it in a moment. And then, oh, this was just super simple. I found this little strip, and I have some pre-cut 2.5 by 3.5. Not quite 2.5. I think they're a little shy. 2.5 by 3.5 pieces. So let's just add some distress inks, and then we can find something that would go on top of here. Another thing that I need to do is make pockets to go with some of these cards that I'm making, or at least neutral enough that they would go with it. I've got a couple that I was thinking about making already set aside here. I like this with the gold. All right, so I'm going to glue that down here. And then I was going to put something in the center. I have these blues, and I think I need to stamp more leaves, but I have some leaves here. So do we want the bright green? I think I'll go with this one. This is one of those projects where I stamp a whole bunch of flowers and leaves, and then I'll start watercoloring them, and then I'll cut them all out. I think I want this one. Okay, so that would go on there. Put that back in here. And this has got gold metallic paint on here. Are they over here? Did I put them away somewhere? They're right here. I think what I might do is get my glue pen out. I'm going to put this down here. And I think I'm going to do this. Oh, that went messy. All right, so I'm putting a little bit of Zig two-way glue because it stays wet longer. And I'm going to grab a clean sheet of paper. And I'm going to open up this gold leaving, which I have way too much on my desk now. And then kind of push it into the glue. And I have a dry brush here. This is messy stuff, let me tell you. And my ceiling fan is blowing it around a little bit. Okay, I like it. This was something that was out at Christmas time at Hobby Lobby, and they had it marked down. I think the day I got it was 60% off because it was after Christmas. Oh, it goes everywhere. Almost lost my piece of paper. All right. Well, that's contained pretty much. Something different. Now the lid doesn't want to go back on. I think I need to put it in another container. You're still there? You're putting the towel sets in the machine? She barks for treats. Oh, how funny. Barks for treats. Dante's been doing a attention barking where he comes in and barks at me because he wants me to get up and do something. I don't always know what it is. Most of the time it's give him treats. All right, so we're going to glue this down the edge here. I didn't go all the way, so I can trim off whatever's poking past. Whole different look by putting that gold leafing on there. And then I was going to glue the little flower like that. Let's add a little glue to the back side here. Hold it in place. Okay. Here we go. I like it. Oh, y'all are just seeing the flash out. You see it now? You thought we needed a specific glue for the cold foil. Nope, just any glue will work, Sandra. You don't have to have a specific glue. Just glue. I like the two-way glue because even though it may air dry a little bit, if you're not super fast, it's tacky when it dries until you put something on top of it. Now let's grab a sentiment. Let's do nature down in the corner there. So yeah, you can use any glue. That's appropriate for your project that you're working with. If you're trying to attach it to a hard to glue surface, you may need to change to a specialty glue. But there's that. Just kind of playing around with it. You don't have to have no special glue. I think this might be dry enough. So what I'm going to do is get my punch, which should be back here. And I think I'm going to trim this. Only so that I'm not having to fight with a huge piece of paper. Okay. So I'm going to take this and slide it into my punch. And then I'm going to get an acrylic block to put over that and punch. And now I've got this little page tab piece. And I'm just going to trim this off. And poke that up in there. Okay, and let's do that again here. Trying to maximize the piece. Of course, there it goes. Okay. I think 2 is enough for today, just to kind of give you all the gist of it. I'm going to go ahead and throw this away. I don't need any more. I mean, I could trim this, I guess. I'll do that. You're watching. I'll do it. And then that way we have a little strip we can use somewhere. Yeah, I mean, just try them. You'll just have to try them on what surface you're working with to see if that works for you. But the Zig 2A glue on paper works really good. Meaning, it works on paper, not in theory. Okay. This one needs a little more glue right there. I could go ahead and fold these, but I was giving it a little bit more time in case the glue wasn't completely set up. It did pretty good. We're cutting it. Some people don't add the distress ink when they haven't got a plan to use it. One of my friends, she liked to use a color that was close to what she was working on. So if she was working on yellow, then she would use yellow distress inks on the edges. All right, so now I'm going to take this and fold it in half. And it has a feeling now almost like cardstock because of the layers. I'm folding them now. We'll unfold them in a moment and see how else we want to embellish these. Get in there and use that stuff. I was noticing that Hobby Lobby had some Christmas fabrics out, so they were on sale for 40% off, so I'm waiting until they go on more on sale because I need to buy some to make some dog collars. All right, do we want to add anything else to these? Sometimes I add like fibers to them, or I can just leave them the way they are. Just giving a little distress on the edges there. Do we want to do anything else to those? I mean, we can keep them pretty simple. I saw some little lace pieces earlier in here. Where are they? Here's one, I think. I was trying to keep this all nice and neat. I thought I saw a little piece of lace. Oh, here's one. There's one of these. And there's some of that. I have this, oh, just a little strips, little bitty skinny pieces of fabric that I've saved. Oh, that's a good one. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to add some fabric to these little page tabs, and I'm going to sew over them. Put that back in there. Dante's in here. All right, so what I was thinking was just taking a piece, get my fabric scissors out. Oh, I think Dante wants to go outside now. Yeah? You want to go outside? Oh my goodness. How bad do you want to go outside? I'm going to go this way. Oh, poor Dante. Oh my goodness, buddy. What are you doing? Oh. Oh. Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? All right, this is going to be the last little project I think we do today. Can you wait? Or do I have to take you now? You going to keep barking at me? All right, let's go to the sewing machine. And what I'm going to do is just stitch across this. What? What? What is it, Dante? Did Timmy fall in the well? No? You're like, no, lady. Don't be weird. I love you too. And now we're going to go the other direction over the lace. Oh, and I may trim some of this off. Hi, what's up? Can you wait just a few more minutes? Just a couple of minutes? I know, buddy. Hang on. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Hang on. I love you, too. I don't think that's what he meant, though. Oh. Dante, boo. Dante, boo. Dante, do you love me? Oh. He says, hurry up, lady. Hurry up, lady. Oh, he's on the move. I better go. I'll be right back. Come on, let's go outside. Go outside. Hurry. Go outside. Oh, my goodness. Okay, he went out. I left the door open so he can go back in. Well, I left it open about that much. He has learned, finally, just recently, to push a door open. For the longest time, he wouldn't push the door. He would just stand there whining and barking at us. Yeah, we don't want a mess to clean up, right? He's just telling me. He's a talker now. When you gotta go, you gotta go. Okay. Let's go this way. All right, let's go back over here. So depending on, he was kind enough to give a warning. Yeah, best to listen. Exactly. And that's what we've done is worked with him. You know, we have a button that says in my voice outside so that hopefully if we're in the living room, we'll hear him and he'll punch that button and we will let him outside. I'm just kind of trimming this a little bit. See how that kind of gives it a nice little decorative pieces on there? I think this one is okay. I don't have to trim it as much. I think right there. And then like this. Depends if you like that sticky outy look. But that was just using little scraps. And now I am not going to save those. But I do know of other people who will use tulle and sprinkle scraps like this in it and then stitch over it and then use that for things. All right, so we got these little guys. I think those turned out pretty cute. And I have some little birdies. That might look cute on here. Little fat birdies. Let's see what size works. I got 2 sizes, I think. Maybe even 3 sizes. So what if I were to glue a little birdie on it like that? And then we could put this on a card to pull out or on the top of a page. If I did it on the side, I would have to change the orientation. But I think I like this way. So I'm going to get the fabric glue. Not tiny scraps. Not tiny. Bird is the word. That's what we said earlier. All right, so we got fabric. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this beacon glue right on top there. And if I wanted, I could take the time to stamp out the word bird. All right, let's put that one here. And let's do this one. I got a little too much glue there. Now let's put that right here. Hey, I'm using up these little birdies I've had forever. I don't know if these are too big. Is that one too big to put on there? I got two smaller ones. Let's use those. We'll save these for something else. Okay. Okay. There we go. Smush! All right, I'm going to have to go rescue the dog in a moment because he hasn't come back in here. Dante! Which probably means he's outside. His big thing right now, he has a pet rock. Sometimes it's flat. Sometimes it's round. Yeah, you could, Sandra. If you're going to save those tiny scraps like that, you could definitely put those in handmade paper, which I have done with the thread. When my husband snips the threads on his embroidery machines to change colors, he pulls the thread out that he's not using anymore and then puts it down into a bin, and I have a whole big old bin. We need to make some more paper this fall, I think. Okay. Well, hey, we made some progress today. Look at all these things we made. So we made little page tabs. So those will go on a page, or it could go onto a piece of paper to make a tag if we want. Move those up here out of the way. And then I made this gold leaf card, and then this large card, and that large card. Made a little tag, and then I made, what is this, 12 or 11 of these different types of, I call them bookmarks, or kind of like a tag without the paper on top, and then of course the little. All right, I think I'm going to get off here. Next week we'll pick up where we left off. I have a whole bin. It hardly looks like I've used any of it. Look at that. I keep dragging stuff out of it, and I haven't used it all yet. I've even got little paper bags or plastic bags full of bits and pieces of things that I need to use up. So we're going to keep going next week and do some more of these scrappy cards. Like, see, I still have a whole stack of what I've selected to kind of do something with. Different pieces that I found. Like this, I thought could be a pretty pocket. And I thought that corner piece could be a pocket. There's a journal card there. There's another pocket that has a slant to it. Yeah, make some bookmarks. You would get quite a bit more than you think. If you just get to, oh, here's one I made earlier. Oh yeah, and here's some pockets. So my mother-in-law gave me some construction paper of some kind, and I've been finding things with it. And I had this piece of cardstock that was printed. I thought that would go together. I wonder if this will fit on there. Oh, it does. Look at that. Look how fast that came together. I think I have another one. Here, we'll put that one on here. So that's good. Now I've already got that ready to go. And then this one was a card that I thought, using the scraps, I may put a piece of book page on there. The bookmarks range in size of, what is this? Ruler. Another card I'm going to make. So they were predominantly about 3 inches by 7, 6.5. That one was a little over 3 inches. This was the scrap piece after I cut a 12-inch by over 6-inch wide, and I made it 6 by 9 and folded that in half. I think that's right. It may be 6 tall by 9, and that made small little journals. I understand, Margie, but we're so glad that you stopped by. Thank you for being here today. All right, so I got some plan. We're going to continue next week, make some more, bust my scraps in a sense, and turn everything off. Thank y'all for being here. I greatly appreciate you spending the time with me. And you want to create, but you just sit there and don't know what I feel like doing. I end up hardly doing anything. Well, just come up, like, for example, where's your scrap bag, Julie? Get that out, and if anything, sort it. Sort it by color, sort it by size, whatever works for you. And the minimal thing that you could do is just take another piece of paper. It could be a scrap of copy paper, it could be a book page, and then glue a bunch of paper on top of it. I kind of do that with my Franken pages. So these were all scraps, and I still have some more scraps in here. And so I'm just gluing them to a book page or even copy paper. And they're all somewhat close to the same color scheme. Your scraps may be smaller, your scraps may be bigger. Well, thank you so much for being here. But here's more scraps here. Like this was a piece of copy paper that had something on the other side. And I haven't stitched around. These were all in the oranges. And here's more of the scraps here to use. And I keep them all put together. You could use zipper bags. I've got these cheap little envelopes. This is an old one because now I buy the better ones. But I got these 3 for $1.50 at Dollar Tree. And now I buy a different brand that I like better because they're sturdier than those. And it just comes in handy to keep them all contained. And that way you don't have to think. You know, you just say, okay, I've got all shades of blue or all shades of pink paper, and I'm just going to glue them together. And then you can choose later to take that piece and cut it up again to make pockets and journal cards and ephemera out of it. Well, thank you all so much for being here. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Do something creative this next week. Love to hear about it. Come over to the Friendly Junk Journal People Facebook group and let us know what you're working on. That would be a lot of fun. What else? I guess this battery is not going to work the way I think it is. Do something kind for somebody else. You never know what someone else is going through in life, and it may be that your words of kindness and encouragement just make their day that much better, and it could lift your spirits at the same time. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Yay, yay, yay. I'm glad it inspires you. Do some fun. Yeah, I think the envelope ones are easy to put stuff in too. I agree. Y'all have an amazing week. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments. Leave a comment below on this video what you found was your favorite portion of today. And again, thank you so much for being here. I wish you all the best. Lots of love to everybody. Aspire to be amazing, everybody. Bye-bye.